What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. The attacker who broke into Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco home and hit her husband in the head with a hammer said to federal officials that he's in custody now that he wanted to break Nancy Pelosi's kneecaps to make her an example to other Democrats in Congress. Yeah, he said this to investigators. He wanted to break Nancy Pelosi's kneecaps as an example to other Democratic members of Congress. This is coming from federal prosecutors. Also, according to an FBI affidavit, David DePape said that if she told the truth, he would let her go, and that if she lied, he would break her kneecaps. Of course, probably anything she said to this guy, he would probably assume was a lie. He went on to say that he viewed her as the leader of the pack among Democrats and that he wanted to break her kneecaps so she would have to be wheeled into Congress, which would show other members of Congress that there were consequences to their actions. Also, now he has been charged with federal offenses. Take a listen.
Just moments ago, federal charges were filed against the man accused of beating Paul Pelosi with a hammer inside his home. The federal charges reflect that Pelosi was allegedly targeted for being the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Federal prosecutors revealed more details on what happened to the 82-year-old. The Justice Department said that the attacker hit Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer, and officials said the attacker plotted out what he would do to Nancy Pelosi if she lied to him. Let's now get the reporting from CNN's Whitney Wild. Give us the new details.
Well, the Justice Department is saying that this all began around 2:30 in the morning Friday when this man, the suspect, 42-year-old David DePape, went to the Pelosi home, went to the back, and entered through the back of the home. Based on this affidavit, it sounds like that he was able to try to break through a door and somehow, utilize that to get inside the home. Then DePape went up to the bedroom on another floor where Paul Pelosi, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, was sleeping, and woke him up. And at this point, this is where the story gets really strange, because Pelosi, DePape's standing there basically over Pelosi, who was sleeping in his bed, and Pelosi was somehow able to basically talk him down from a violent attack. Pelosi went into the bathroom, somehow called 911, and apparently, according to this affidavit, DePape knew that, but chose not to leave. And then a few minutes later, San Francisco police were able to get to the home. Pelosi somehow and DePape both make their way downstairs. Paul Pelosi opening this door, and when police arrive, they see both David DePape and Paul Pelosi holding onto a hammer. And it was in that moment that DePape pulled the hammer away from Pelosi and was able to strike him in the head, Pelosi falling to the ground unconscious. Back to you.
Yeah, and we also learned that there are two witness statements, one including from Paul Pelosi himself when he was en route to the hospital in the ambulance, and another from a nearby security officer who was protecting a home in the area. Whitney Wild, thank you.
Let's bring in now Gloria Borger. Gloria, let me start with you. And Whitney mentioned that after DePape made that call, this is according to the interview that happened on October 28th, the question was why he didn't leave after he obviously knew that Paul Pelosi called the police. This is page 6, where DePape says he explained that he did not leave after Pelosi's call to 911 because, much like the American founding fathers with the British, he was fighting against tyranny without the option of surrender. When we ask the question about the rhetoric that's happening and what these conspiracies that are being fed to supporters who may not be mentally well, this is where likely that goes.
Let me know your thoughts on this. I don't even know where to begin. Yeah, I think that anybody that thought that this was that they were friends or anything like this, I think that is completely debunked now at this point. You can let me know your thoughts here on this, but this guy's going to go to prison for a long, long time. The problem is that I feel like this stuff is becoming more and more common. I mean, yeah, these guys go to prison for a long, long time. Um, Honestly, in these home invasions, a lot of times these people get shot and stuff like this. But yeah, I mean, let me know your thoughts on this. And of course, Paul Pelosi. And again, it's not if you're a Republican or it's not if you're a Democrat. I mean, this guy's 82 years old. I mean, this shouldn't happen to anybody. This shouldn't happen to anybody, right? I mean, imagine if this was your family, anybody's family, right? Nobody deserves this, right? Yeah, very, very sad story. Also, in the news here today, former President Donald Trump asked Supreme Court to block Congress from getting his tax returns. It's just unbelievable how. You remember former President Donald Trump said he wouldn't have a problem releasing his tax returns. Now he's asking the Supreme Court to block Congress from getting his tax returns. I don't understand what the big deal about this is. Remember that every single other president in recent history has just released their tax returns willingly. What's the big deal here? Why are we asking the Supreme Court to block it? What are we hiding here? I mean, everybody else, just every other president, I should say, just releases their tax returns so that the country knows that the president's not hiding anything. You can see here former President Donald Trump, who is probably going to be the next Republican candidate for presidency as well. So keep that in mind. Asked the Supreme Court to block a judge's order that the IRS give years of his tax return from when he was president to the House Ways and Means Committee later this week. The request came on the heels of Trump losing his effort at the federal appeals court in Washington, D.C. to reverse that order. If the Supreme Court grants Trump's application to delay the order, it could thwart the Democratic-controlled committee from receiving the returns for several more years at the very least. Then, as of today, Chief Justice Roberts temporarily shields Trump's tax returns from the U.S. House of Representatives. The Supreme Court on Tuesday temporarily halted a House panel from accessing the tax records of former President Donald Trump ahead of their expected release. The move comes in response to the emergency request by Trump filed on Monday, was ordered by Chief Justice John Roberts, who is a Republican and was appointed by George W. Bush. So you guys can let me know your thoughts on that, if you think that has any sway in there or not. Also remember that if it goes to a full reading from the Supreme Court, there's 6 Republicans and 3 Democrats on the Supreme Court. Roberts requested a full response by November 10th. The committee maintains that it requires the records, 6 years of Trump's tax returns and 8 years of his business records, to inform its review of the IRS's presidential audit process. Also, according to a new poll, 63% of Americans support the federal government sending inflation relief checks, aka a 4th stimulus check, because of how bad inflation is. You guys can let me know your thoughts on this. So remember, whenever we get anywhere near 2/3 or over 60%, over 60% or 2/3, 66%, is considered a supermajority in Congress. So that's a very high percentage. Whenever you see any type of polling agree on anything that high. So anytime you get anybody of any group of Americans agreeing on anything over 60 to 66% agreeing on anything, it's considered a lot. Yeah, even agreeing on the sky is blue, it's a lot, right? So here's the details on this. A recent poll found that almost 2/3 of Americans are proponents of the federal government sending out inflation stimulus payments. And remember that there's 33 states that have sent out payments like this year: tax rebate checks, inflation relief checks, state stimulus checks. They all have different names, right? About 63% of eligible U.S. voters expressed some degree of support for federal inflation relief checks being distributed, according to a new Newsweek poll conducted by Redfield and Wilton Strategies showed. Of those who agreed the federal government should do so, 42% indicated they strongly agree, while 21% they agree, according to the new poll. And this comes with, as economy and inflation remains the top voter concern ahead of the midterms. And inflation, it's a fickle thing. It's a double-edged sword, right? Inflation's high, and you get some people that say, "Oh, well, this would contribute to inflation." But the reality of it is when you send out targeted relief checks, just like the states are doing, right? This literally 33 states doing this right now. Um, it helps out the lowest income Americans, right? You don't send it out to the wealthy people. You don't send it out to people that don't need it. You send it out to people who really need the money. People on food stamps, people on low income, people making, below $50,000 a year, people like that. People that really need it, people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, people on disability, right? People with children, people that really need the money. These are the people that are getting hurt the most. I mean, we have credit card interest rates at the highest ever, mortgage rates at 20 or 25-year highs. I mean, this honestly, if it weren't for the whole rhetoric of, oh, inflation's really high and this stuff is contributing to the high inflation, they would have already probably sent out another check. Really, that's probably the only thing preventing another check going out. Truly, because if it weren't for that, we would probably see more and more help here. And luckily, we've seen 33 to 34, 35 different states sending out these, inflation relief checks, tax rebate checks, property tax rebate checks. They're all slightly different names, right? But this just goes to show you that basically about 2/3 of Americans think that there should be more help going on. Now, really, there is. If you've been watching my channel, there is all these different things. We just covered in the last video about the energy and gas and utility help. We have over 40 million Americans about to get student loan help of $10,000 to $20,000. So for a lot of people, that's over 40 million Americans going to get that help as long as it doesn't get blocked by the courts with the Republican challenge. So, I mean, again, if you're part of that, or if your friends or family are part of that, that's going to be a huge help for them. And we've had so many different programs here: rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, 3 stimulus checks, extra SNAP benefits of $95 a month on top of normal SNAP or food stamp benefits going on here. Still for about, I think it's over half the states. We just went over a video here on that. And the 33 states sending out stimulus checks. California sending out their stimulus checks still right now. Those are actually going to be going on here till the end of the year. So really, you kind of look at all these different programs. It's not necessarily just the main stimulus check program that everybody thinks about. So everybody thinks about, oh, there's just this one main stimulus check program and that's it. Clearly, that's not the case. That's part of my mission here on this channel, is to keep you guys up to date here on all these different type of programs. And I don't charge anything to watch my channel. So there's some other places they try to get you to pay money and stuff like that. Luckily I don't do that. In fact, I just gave away $1,000 to our YouTube channel. I just started to contact the winners here. A few people, Yeah, I'm just a little bit behind because we did trick or treating and stuff and filming. So, yeah, keep that in mind. And also, we're going to be doing another kind of giveaway here in November and December. Yeah, so just kind of our way of giving back here to our YouTube community. So make sure you click the subscribe button down below to our YouTube channel, and then click the bell icon after you subscribe. It's completely free to do so. It just makes it so you won't miss out on our new videos, and you're more likely for the YouTube algorithm to actually show you our videos. Remember that our new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you remember those times, if you get notifications, that's the easiest way. I always get some questions of people saying, I don't get the notifications. Like I've subscribed and clicked the bell icon. If you don't get the notifications on your phone or like your iPad or whatever you watch it on, the reason for that would be is if you would have to go into the settings on your phone, if you watch on your phone or your iPad or whatever you watch on, go into the settings of your YouTube app and make sure you have notifications turned on for your YouTube app. So that would be the reason why you may have clicked the bell, but you're not allowing YouTube to send you the notifications for that. And this way, you'll get a notification when my videos go live, which is basically the easiest way. This way you won't miss out on them. So I'll keep you up to date here with everything. Here's some videos you can watch next. Here's my video I just did on how to apply for utility assistance. Just did a video on that, really, really good. And here's my video I did with the $1,000 giveaway winners, and you'll get to see our Halloween costumes, my wife, mine, and my son's. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.